because she said, "You're a fixer." And she's so right. I hear something, I want to help, I want to fix. She's like, radical acceptance, recognize something or someone for what they are, where they are, respect it, take it in. You don't have to like it. And guess what else? You don't have to fix it.
As leaders, we often fall into the trap of trying to fix every single problem around us. Radical acceptance means letting go of the illusion of control, respecting reality for what it is, and realizing we don't always have to fix it. So let's dive into this conversation with Trina White.
This is Leadership Sound Bites. Real leaders, real moments, real growth.
Right. This is so fun. This is part 2 of what we recorded, I think it was a couple weeks ago.
It was only a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and what
Yes.
we started was the conversation or the topic around radical acceptance. So, welcome to this week's episode of Leadership Soundbites with my guest again. We have to do this more frequently like this. I
I
love this
agree.
cadence. It doesn't have to be every couple weeks because I know you've got a full-time job,
So do
but
you.
it will be so fun. So, Trina White, assistant professor. I tried to give you a promotion to associate, but you weren't ready to accept it yet.
No, no.
Assistant professor, UNMC, University of Nebraska Medical Center, director of the MHA program, which I love that
Thank
you're
you.
doing that. It's just,
Thank you.
it's so you. There's a gap
Oh,
and you just
thanks.
kind of fill it in and shepherd it along until it's ready to be handed off to somebody else. So, welcome to our topic, radical acceptance. So, the quote that we found with the help of my buddy ChatGPT is radical acceptance rests on letting go of the illusion of control and a willingness to notice and accept things as they are right now without judging. And that's Marcia Lineman.
Yes. Yes.
So, Trina, I'm going to hand it over to you because I watched, you sent me a YouTube snippet, it's like a 3-minute long thing of her explanation. I had never heard of her before, but
I
I would
hadn't
love to
either.
hand it over to you about where this came about and this topic and what you've seen as a result of, I'm going to say incorporating it in because you teach programs at UNMC. And so it'd be cool to kind of touch on that and then what you're seeing as you incorporate in and why this resonates with you now.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm so happy to be back.
Me too.
And I just, for me, where this all generated from, Michelle, is I am constantly working on mindfulness as a part of my own personal journey, but certainly it crosses over to my professional journey as well. And the reason I wanted to talk about it is because I hope it can be helpful to other people. Because in leadership roles, we have a lot of pressures and stressors and challenges, and we spend a lot of time talking about resiliency, but we don't always have a lot of discussion about how we can build that for ourselves and for our teams, and then for our organizations. And one of the things that I've learned the hard way, and I'm still learning, is that you can't help a team or an organization have resiliency unless you have resiliency yourself. You can't encourage others to take the rest that they need if you're not taking that rest yourself. And I think we've talked about it before, but one of the things that just brings it really brightly into my mind is when you fly somewhere and they say, if cabin pressure should drop, um, an oxygen mask will drop from the ceiling, and please be sure to put yours on before you help the person next to you. And what do we run around as leaders doing all the time? Putting everybody else's oxygen masks on before we put our own on. And then we can't continue to help them because we didn't put ours on first.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my analogy for mindfulness, for building resiliency, and then being able to support your teams better. If you don't do it for yourself first, you can't help anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to learn that the hard way. I still keep learning that the hard way because I'm imperfect. And even though I say these things and try to practice them, I can still find myself going back to old habits where I'm running around putting everybody else's oxygen mask on and recognizing I don't have mine on. So I try to live that. I try to work more on mindfulness and building my own resiliency. One of the things that I've done in the last year to try to help that journey and that intent is to take a mindfulness meditation class. Because I've read a lot about it, I've watched videos about it, I've, done different things, but I thought to deepen my practice, to teach myself more, I'm going to take a class. That's out of my comfort zone because I'm an introvert at heart. I know sometimes people are surprised by that. You're not because you know me.
No, I know you,
But
and I'm
people are
right there
often
with you.
surprised that I am an introvert at heart. So to go into a group setting and talk about something that to me is very much a vulnerability moment is a stress. But I felt like that's what I needed to do to challenge myself to grow a little bit more. So I took this mindfulness meditation class. We did a lot of really cool things, but one of the cool things that we did is starting off one of the classes that focused on radical acceptance by watching this video by Marshall
Awesome.
Lineman. And I don't know her, excuse me, Linehan. I don't
Yes.
know her, but I think she seems really cool from the video. And I hope that she doesn't mind that I'm telling all kinds of people about it because it just so resonated with me and helped me understand what radical acceptance really means. Um, then the person leading our class, she's awesome. I'm going to keep her name confidential because I don't know if she wants her name shared, so I'm not
Yeah.
going to talk about her
Yeah.
from a name standpoint, but I will talk about how she helped me. Um, she said, Trina, here's radical acceptance. You recognize something for what it is. You don't have to like it.
Mm-mm.
I'm like, oh, and I know that seems so simple and straightforward, but it really kind of gave me this light bulb moment to think, I don't have to like it. And then she goes, and let's go one step further because she said, you're a fixer. And she's so right. I
Mhm.
hear something, I want to help, I want to fix. She's like, radical acceptance, recognize something or someone for what they are, where they are, respect it, take it in. You don't have to like it. And guess what else? You don't have to fix it. You can if you're asked to help someone, but you don't have to fix it. You don't own that entire situation. And that really helped me a lot. I
Mhm.
know again, it may sound so simple and straightforward to somebody else, but it really helped me a lot. The other thing I'll say, Michelle, and then I want to be quiet and listen to what you think. Um, I'll be really vulnerable here with you and with anyone listening. I have I have struggled with the concept of forgiveness
Mm.
because I always felt that forgiveness meant that you approved of
Mm-mm.
what was happening or what someone had done. So for me to think about radical acceptance versus forgiveness really helped me move forward in some of my relationships too,
Mhm.
because radical acceptance means I'm accepting that this is real, that this is the reality for this person, this situation, etc. But it doesn't mean I have to like it.
Mm-mm.
So that really helped me. I went, oh, I can radically accept. It does not mean I have to cross over into what my definition of forgiveness was.
Mhm.
Um, not that you can't, and not that that's not appropriate in certain situations, but it really helped me because I was stuck. I was stuck. So it really helped me with some of my relationships and being able to move forward
Yeah.
in those relationships as well. So now I want to hear what you think.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because my brain, as you were talking, latched on to different circumstances and stuff that comes to mind. Um, because I told you it's like a 3-minute YouTube, and I'll share the link in the description. But I was listening to it, and Marshall Linehan, I believe, is a therapist. It was because there was another video I landed on that she was talking about something in therapy, the practice that was going on, and it's so interesting because a lot of what I've learned has been just collecting it along the way. I'll hear people, I'll find the things, and then I bring it back into the rooms that I'm in, right? With coaching clients or whatever it may be. And a lot of it is around mindset stuff too. The radical acceptance, what's resonated with me is in the quote that we started out with, is no judgment. So when we step into situations as leaders, or it can be a manage up situation, right? When we're looking at stuff, when we step in without judgment, we're able to maintain our what positive intelligence calls sage brain and not go into fight or flight. Okay, that judgment piece sends us into fight or flight because all the judgment stuff that's there gets us in anger, gets us in stress, gets us in all the like emotionally charged state. That's what judgment does. So we step away and we have radical acceptance. We go, okay, this is what it is. I had one client the other day that she experienced a leader in completely different how they showed up, right? One environment as a one-on-one as a senior leader. They were help me understand your career, what's your path, like a mentoring thing. And then a few days later in a meeting was literally cutting her off and going, "Oh, I don't even know why we're here, da 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 da, but this is a waste of my time. This is a waste of all, I mean, the whole thing." And she took it personally. She's like, "Where did this come from?" And so when I think about radical acceptance, I think about the perspective that I offered her in that moment. I said, my experience has been that when we have people that show up like that, let's just say challenging, difficult people, they have unmet needs. Nobody wants to come to work or go to a situation and feel like that. No one. Even the most miserable people you come across, they don't want to feel crappy. They don't want to feel pissed off. They don't want to feel yelling at people. No one chooses to feel that way. So when you come across people like that, it's because they have unmet needs. So when I think about radical acceptance, I think about stepping in to realize that you start from that space and you're looking at people going, okay, this isn't personal. It may feel like an attack. It's not an attack. They're crying out because they've got unmet needs. So I'm going to sit back and I'm going to stay in my sage brain and I'm going to go, what are they? Because if I'm in a position to have a conversation with them offline, to say, hey, help me understand what you're not getting. Help me understand what you're getting that you don't need, right? Like I'm overfilling the cup, whatever it may be. You're not going to confront them in the moment because you can't confront someone's survivor brain because nothing can get in. It's like two people when they start arguing, right? They're like, "You're not listening to me and you're not listening to me." Well, true, because nothing can get in from either one because they're literally their body has flooded them with adrenaline so they can run from the hungry tiger that doesn't exist and nothing's getting in because their life is in danger. That's the signal that they have. So when I heard about radical acceptance, I'm like, yes, yes. Don't judge it, just accept it. Get curious to understand where it's coming from. We don't have to fix it, to your point. We just have to understand where it's coming from and then realize it's not personal. The conversation that I'll make on forgiveness, because it's an interesting animal as you were walking through, and I radically agree that it's not about that you like it, approve of it, would be something you would do, that it's not, that it aligns with your values, whatever the thing is, right? But it's about looking at it and saying, okay, so this is current state. And that's how we start moving forward, is we at least understand what current state is. And a lot of times we don't do that. We're so in denial. This can't be how it is. Well, what if this is how it is? So what do we want it to be? And is it a situation that we're not in a position to change it, which we usually aren't? However, we're in a position to change if we're in it with them. We can make a choice to leave, but it doesn't mean we battle everything all the time. So those are just a few thoughts that come to
I
mind.
love it. I love it. There's so much there. I love hearing your thoughts and reflections. And to add to what you were saying about fight or flight, that ties back to the first leadership sound bites that we did for this
Yeah.
little two-part series. And um, part of that alignment is I've discovered that when I go into fixing mode, that is often fight or flight
Mhm.
mode as well. So if we're firefighting with our fixing, then we're not perhaps keeping with that higher mindset of, okay, what's the systems in play? What are the strategies in play? How can I stay in an objective space and think about how to fix this maybe upstream versus just fighting the fire that's right in front of me? So part of the power in in a leadership lens of being able to think about mindfulness is tapping into that leadership thinking that often the challenges in front of you need. Um, Sometimes it's the firefighting in addition to the
Well, I
leadership
was going to say,
lens.
I think you put the fire out and
Yes.
then you go understand why this
What
fire
caused
keeps
the
popping
fire?
up. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yes,
We saw this fire recently. What is actually causing this fire?
exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah, absolutely. I love a lot of what you said. I so appreciate that this also ties to something that we've spent a lot of time talking about over our time together. It's that concept of humble inquiry. Being in this mode of mindfulness and radical acceptance also really helps you as a leader show up in a mindset of humble inquiry, where you're again tying back to the podcast that we recently did, where you're asking questions instead of providing statements. If you're in a mindset of humble inquiry and you're asking questions and seeing where people are at and meeting them where they're at before we collectively decide together which next steps to take, um, having that sort of radical acceptance mind helps you have that humble inquiry mind as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the thing, right? Because when we talked about curiosity before, and to anyone I've been in a room with, any of my clients, whatever level, they know repeatedly it's curiosity. They're like, oh, Michelle, it's that curiosity thing. Yeah. Because the thing is, Trina, the longer we're on this planet, right, the more experience that we have, the more likely we are to have mapped the answer to whatever situation we're looking at. Because our brain's doing it without us even thinking about it. It's like, oh, boom, 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 seen this, done that, boom, this is what we need to do. Do we? Because I go back to Margie Hagney, where she was talking before in the A3 thinking class of the one leader is, do you know the truth in this story in front of you? You may have experienced similar things and your brain has mapped heuristics, right? Um, but do you know the truth in the story? And I'll tell you a funny story about heuristics because the examples that we give are how many people have gone from work to home, done that drive, especially people who return to office now, they're doing it. And you get home and you don't remember the turn by turn to get there because heuristics took over. You've already mapped the path. Well, there was one leader that I worked with at Sutter Health. She was telling the story. She had moved. And she had moved. It had been a couple months. And so her brain went into get in the car, drive home. She drove home and it was to her old house. She didn't realize it until she was almost in the driveway and she goes, wait a minute, I don't live here anymore. But heuristics had taken over. And so a lot of it is about, as leaders or humans, leaders of our own life, be intentional. Set, reset yourself, do the stuff, be present in your own life and in those moments so that the stuff doesn't take over. And then you're able to think through stuff as well. So anyway, just funny stuff.
So great. That's at the heart of mindfulness too, is being present in the moment because it takes you out of that autopilot and brings you fully present into the moment because you will learn new things
Yeah.
when you're able to be fully present in that moment. So,
Yeah. One last thing that comment, because you when you said autopilot, it was like the checklist that leaders can go through. I was in the room with one leader, and what he was talking about is he wants to intentionally carve out time for development, right? And I said, okay, say more about that. He goes, well, lately I feel like I'm just doing my work and all the stuff, and then I need to carve out time. And I'm like, okay, but where in those moments of you doing the work can that development be incorporated? Because if you go into it like I'm checking the box, then you're not open to any of the development opportunities that happen to come up during the day.
Right.
Versus, I'm going to step in and I'm going to be scanning and aware and present for those development opportunities that are there throughout the day while you're doing parts of your job that you're doing. Because if
Right.
you're a leader, part of your job is you've got touch points with the people on your team. So each of those touch points is a development opportunity for you to intentionally show up better, different, more effective than what you did the day before, the week before, the month before. So I totally agree with you. As we wrap up, this has been fun. We have to continue this series thing. What is something you want people to walk away with just on the topics that we covered today?
Try to take something and build it into your routine a little, even if it's 5 minutes every day to just have some mindfulness meditation. Um, Even if it's 5 minutes in between a really busy schedule to think about, to your point just now, Michelle, how you want to show up and
Mm-hmm.
how that might be different than how you showed up last week. Um, Take one thing. And I'm going to go back to one of your quotes and steal it for a second. What does a little bit better look like? And that's what's a little bit better for you look like.
Mm-hmm.
This is about you, and it's okay to put your own oxygen mask first before you run around putting everybody else's on. And in fact, you need to. So don't just give yourself permission to do that. Make it a priority.
Mm-hmm. Uh, I'm just bobbleheading. I'm like, uh-huh, yeah, yeah. The thing that I would do, and I'll bring us back to this simplicity um, of radical acceptance is don't fight and deny what current state is. Don't judge it, don't fight it. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a choice on whether or not you want to stay in it, but accept it. Don't just go, okay, people are on their own journeys, situations are on their own thing. Tomorrow's another day, all the stuff, but accept what it is, where it is. And one of the things that I was talking to another leader, I think it was yesterday, a physician leader, and I was talking about lists and staying organized, and we were talking about that. He goes, I make lists. He said, but I never get all the stuff done on the list. I said, as to be expected. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, you set the bar high. I encourage you to continue to set the bar high and know that you're not going to ever get everything checked off your list. It's not going to happen because you're setting the bar high. Know that and celebrate the stuff that did get checked off. Radical acceptance. Thank you.
Thank you too. It's been a
Yeah,
pleasure.
it has been fun. Leadership Soundbites with Michelle and Trina. Until next time, this is going to be a series.
Okay. Then we'll
Bye
see you soon.
bye.
Bye bye.